Hi, my name is Tarryn, and welcome to What's Buzzin' in Breck. This is Alissa Doan from Red Edge Realty. How are you today?
I'm good.
That's good.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm from Breckenridge County. I went to WKU, and then, I went to WKU. I majored in healthcare administration, and then I moved back home, and now I do real estate.
Healthcare, that's quite a switch to
Yes,
real
yeah,
estate.
it was quite a switch. So when I moved home, I worked a couple of jobs in healthcare administration. I did sales and I did HR, and it wasn't exactly aligned with me and what I wanted to do, and I didn't really want to travel to like Owensboro or E-Town or anything like that for work. So I decided to take completely left field
Yeah.
decision into real estate, but it wasn't too much of a left field thing for me because my uncle is a realtor, so I kind of grew up
okay.
around in the real estate world, and then my dad was, I guess you would call him like a general contractor. He does he did new builds. They developed a subdivision in Brandenburg, and he does remodels. He's a landlord, so it's like
Okay.
my uncle had one side of real estate, which was the realtor side and the sales side, and then my dad had kind of the investor
So
side.
it's just embedded into your
So,
brain. It's in your
well,
genes.
it was always, I don't know if I realized it at the time, but it was always kind of in the back of my mind, like, I might want to try that. I'm interested in it. Like, it's it's just always been around. I don't know. It
Yeah,
was just kind of a,
it's a good thing to get into, I've
yeah,
heard.
yeah.
What was the education process going into it?
So the education process to get your real estate license, you do a pre-licensing course, and you have to get so many hours, and then you take your exam, and then you have to do post-licensing coursework. So you get so many hours before you get your license, you take your test, and then you get so many hours after your license. And it kind of depends how you do it. I mean, some people will take a year and just do it after work or on the weekends and stuff like that. Or you can even do like a crash course type thing and get it done within like 2 or 3 weeks. But what I did was I kind of committed fully. I quit my job. I got my real estate license within a month, and then I just went full force,
So it's
full
your
time.
full time?
Yeah. Yeah. I was
Oh.
full time from the jump, which is
Yeah.
probably not what everyone does. But for me, I think I was 23 at the time. And so it's like I didn't have a family. I didn't have a lot of
Right.
bills, a lot of debt. I just like committed
Right.
to it, and I thought if I'm going to figure it out, I'm going to like full force try to figure it out, and I'm glad I did.
So you don't have your brokers?
No, I don't have my broker's license. I'm just like a sales agent. So a realtor, just a
Okay.
sales agent. And you can get your broker's license. I think it's after 2 years. You can get your broker's license. That's additional coursework, additional exam. I'm sure you have post-licensing coursework as well, like hours and classes and things. But initially, I thought that was something that I might do. But then once I got into real estate, started practicing real estate, I was able to really see the benefit of having a broker. If you're like as a real estate agent, you have a broker. So the structure is like your broker is like your, when you don't know how to handle something, you get in a position you've never been in, there's an issue or a problem, you go to your broker.
So your boss?
Yeah, it's kind of like a boss. It's like you have your own business under your broker, but your broker is there for like if things go bad or if there's something you've never seen before. They help train you and stuff the first year
Okay.
too. So your broker is, I'm not real sure what to compare it to, but it's like a boss, but more hands off probably.
Oh, so like your
So
guardian angel?
maybe, that's probably a good way to look at it. They're there to help you when you need help.
Would you ever be interested in getting your brokers, like, in the far future?
I considered it in the beginning. That's what I thought I wanted to do, was have my own thing, have my own brokerage. And I guess now I've been doing it 7 years, and I feel like there's still so much that I'm learning, and there's so many things that can come up that I guess I feel like right now might not be the right time, but maybe in the future, you never know. In
Yeah.
10 years, I might be absolutely ready.
Right.
But right now, I feel good where I'm at, what I'm doing.
How do you
So.
feel about the firm that you're with?
I really like the firm that I'm with. So we have an office. It's me and one other agent in Rough River, and then he had a lake house on Rough River, and that's how we met. But he's got multiple offices in Louisville, so we kind of get the best of both worlds. We learn what they do in Louisville, and then we can kind of bring it down here and implement it in Rough River, and so we're kind of on the up and up of what's going on and the happenings and things, and then we're able to do that down here.
So how'd you find the firm?
So the other agent that I work with, she introduced me to my current broker. So I started with a different company. When I first was licensed, I was with another company for 2 years, and then this agent that I work with now at Red Edge, she introduced me to my current broker. So,
Okay.
Yep.
What are some benefits to your job?
Probably the most appealing thing to me, the efforts that you put in are the efforts that you get out when it comes to working for yourself, real estate, entrepreneurship. It's directly correlated. So you do well by your clients, they refer you business, you make more income. Like it's all very connected. That's really rewarding. Being able to work through, like, there's new issues and like things that happen and pop up every day. Being able to work through problems, help your clients get from like listing their house to closing table, or go from showing properties to the closing table. There's so many little things in between, and it's just really rewarding when you help them through all the little things, and then it's like closing, you're celebrating. You're like, oh, we made it. And it's really rewarding. I get to work from home a lot. I get to work around the lake, which is really nice, because it's like I'm a lake person. So it's like sometimes, I can meet a client out on the boat or something. It's kind of, there's benefits to working close from home and working in your community and getting to like introduce people to the area and to people locally and things like that. It's really cool you're kind of selling the area that you're in, and you have to, you're their first and main connection.
Right, yeah.
Because, so many of my people or my clients aren't from here. They're from like Southern Indiana or Louisville, or,
Is it a lot of your clients that are from other states?
Mostly from like Southern Indiana and Louisville. We get people from like Indianapolis or maybe Chicago, but Owensboro, we get a lot of people from Owensboro, some from E-Town. But we get at the lake, it seems like 85-90% of the people are not from here. So you're a little bit of a tour guide for the area. Help them get to know everything. So.
Right. How many houses do you show a day?
A day? With it being vacation property at the lake, it's very seasonal. So in the wintertime, work usually slows down around the holidays. And then in the summertime, that's like busy season. So it definitely varies, and it's definitely, picks up a whole lot in the spring, summer, fall. But it could be like on an average week, I might show, it could be anywhere from like 10 to 15. And then, so I guess on a daily basis, that might be like 1 or 2 a day in busy season. And then in the wintertime, it might be just a couple a week. So it can be, it varies a whole lot.
When it slows down throughout the season, how do you deal with that?
Well, you kind of just like you like make hay when the sun's shining, I guess. You work through the summer months extra hard, longer days, longer hours, and then it kind of makes up for the winters being slow. In the winter times, you get to rest. That's when you get to have a lot of your off time, and you can kind of catch up on stuff and plan and get ready for the next season. But
Yeah, that's
it's
that's
not.
pretty good benefit.
Yeah, it is.
It's like summer break in the winter.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, it's a little bit hard to adjust for and like kind of financially prepare for, but once you get used to it, it's not too bad.
How many times do you show a house before you get an offer?
Um, it kind of depends. It could be, so in real estate, it's like you have to learn the different price ranges. And so there might be like a sweet spot or like a hot move-in price range. So I guess I'm trying to think of an example. So like a 3-bed, 2-bath with a garage, lakefront with a dock. That's probably going to move pretty quick. So it might take something like that is kind of the sweet spot. It might take 3 showings and you get an offer. But on the other hand, you could be working with a buyer who wants something very specific. And with it being lake property and it being a second home, they may be just very picky about what they want. It really needs to meet their family's needs and all that stuff. So they may look for, you might show them property for a couple years, show them 20 properties, and you just, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It just, yeah. So it's like on the best case scenario, you have your like hot commodity properties, or like you'll have a hot price range that you just know is going to move super quick. And then on the other end, you might have a really unique property, or you might have a really picky buyer who it's like you can't seem to find the right thing. Or it's a lot of, I guess real estate is a lot of matchmaking. So you kind of have to, the house and the client kind of have to match. So sometimes it can be hard.
How is the environment with your clients that you meet?
The environment?
As in, like, your interaction with them.
Okay. Well, I would say it's pretty casual with me. I mean, the way I handle people is just like my broker says, just treat people like their family, and you really don't have to worry about much. So it's like you kind of prep them for what to expect in terms of the process for buying or selling, and then you just like anything that comes up, any issues that they have, anything that they need for like repairs, or if there's like a title work issue, you just handle for them. Basically, you are there to, if they need help like measuring for furniture. It's like there's a lot of small things that you just kind of help with that maybe isn't the job, but is the job.
How is the flexibility of your schedule?
I do have a lot of flexibility. I have so, I mean, my schedule is basically in my control, and but it's kind of in my control. It's kind of in my client's control. It kind of depends how you look at it. But I mean, for the most part, I do like my paperwork and my client communication, that type of stuff. I usually do that in the morning, and then I save the afternoons for like appointments or projects or like special things that I work, something like this. I kind of handle that stuff. I keep the afternoons a little more open so that I can, if I get phone calls and need to fill appointments, then my afternoons are a little more open. But when it comes to the summer versus the winter, the summers usually the weekends get packed full of showings, because most of the time I work when my clients are not working, so that can be evenings and weekends. And then especially in the summertime when they're down at the lake, that's when they want to see property. So it may be like Friday through Monday, maybe a more busy time versus like Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday isn't as busy for me. So
Do you have a family of your own?
I don't.
You
No,
don't? But
no.
you have like your parents and stuff?
Yeah, I've got
Do
my
you get to
parents.
spend a lot of time with them?
I do, and I am a lake person, so I always try to make sure. That was one of the things that was challenging for me in the beginning, was managing time and priorities and all of that stuff. But I feel like I have a much better handle on it now. In the beginning, I was kind of bad about blowing off friends and family, and because I felt like I needed to work, I needed to make the money, I needed to get the business and build the business. But then it's like once it became a little more steady and consistent, I felt like I could back off a lot. You know, I could really like, okay, my phone can go on silent at 7 o'clock and everything's going to be fine. And I can, you know, I can take Sundays off. I can go out on the lake. Like I need to be sure to plan that time
Yeah.
in. That's just as important as going on the appointment. So,
Yeah. I had a question. I completely forgot it, so we can just move on to the next one. What's your favorite part of it being a real estate agent?
my favorite part, it is really rewarding, I guess. I think it's a really good match for my personality. I kind of like variety and new things, and I don't like to do the same thing every day. And I like a little bit of a challenge or like problems to solve and things like that. Um, I really like, I mean, I like where I work. I like being on the lake, around the lake, things like that. Um, Trying to think what else would be. I guess your efforts being directly correlated with the effort you get out of it, or like your income. I really like that. Was probably the most appealing thing for me going in. Was, well, if I put a lot of energy and effort into this, you know, and build something, then it will repay me. And I feel like that is true. And I feel like if you're the type of person who fits well in that environment, if you're driven, if you work hard, if you I guess if you're attracted to that type of thing, if you like variety, it's a very good match.
How long have you been doing this?
This is, so I got licensed in 2018, so this is year 7. Yep.
Dang,
Yep.
girl.
Yep.
Getting that money.
Yeah.
What would you tell kids my age that are interested in real estate?
I would say that I'm trying to think, what would I tell myself when I was like younger and getting started? It is a very good career to have locally. It's a very good career if you are driven, disciplined, if you are like self-motivated. You know, you can't sleep till noon and expect good results. If yeah, it's a good, I think it's a really good match for a certain type of person. If you like to do the same thing every day and you just want to go to work at 9 and be home at 5, it's not for that type of person. Sometimes the work does require more than that. Sometimes you have to work until the work is done and not till you're wanting to be done.
Yeah.
So there's definitely pros and cons to it, but overall, I think it's a really great profession, a great career, especially for this area. You can make a good income, you can make a good living, you can control your own schedule, you can work with people locally. Part of the job is to have like a network and a community, so you build relationships with people in the area, you build relationships with like contractors and just other professionals, other businesses, local lenders, local inspectors, handymen, contractors, all kinds of things like that. And I guess also another thing that I haven't really mentioned is under real estate, there are so many things that you can do. So, like, I sell real estate as an agent, being a realtor, but I also have, like, kind of a whole second thing of investing. So, you can do Airbnbs, you could have long-term rental properties, you can do flip properties, and that's like a whole nother world in real estate. And that's, again, for the right type of person, it could be a really good match if you're the type of person that's just curious and interested in lots of things, then like that's how I was. Once I got in real estate, I was very eager to learn, and I would help investors, and like my dad was an investor, so it was like I wanted to hurry up and go figure out some of that stuff too. And so it's just a fun, I don't know, I'm not sure exactly how to say it, but it's like there's so many things that you can do in real estate. It makes it fun, and it's like never boring. It's something new every day, but it is challenging. You know, there is a lot of pressure. There is a lot of like stressful situations. You are dealing with and handling a person's largest asset. You know, their home is the most expensive thing that they own. So there's a lot of stress and a lot of pressure that comes with that, and it is a big deal. So I guess that's the advice that I have.
Throughout the education process, do you have any tips or tricks for kids or anyone that has means to go into that?
Yeah, I think during the formal education, there's kind of a formal education, which is the classwork, it is the test, it is the post licensing hours that you have to get. But I feel like the real education is like experience in the business and getting with a broker who has good experience and can teach you. Because that first year for me felt like, I mean, you just have to be a sponge and like you learn the coursework and the licensing work from the school, but the real world experience is just as important, if not more important. You learn a whole lot more from actually doing deals and actually like working with people, and you really see the challenges and like the problems and issues that can come up between the time you start looking for property and making it to closing. So I would say that, I guess tips would be just know that the coursework and the like formal education is just part of it. There's the whole other part of learning like actually what the business is like. And maybe shadowing somebody, or I know there's like coaches and things out there, and like YouTube, there's like podcasts for coaches in the real estate world, and that type of stuff is what I do now to like keep myself educated and kind of know what's going on. There's lots of podcasts that you can listen to and YouTube videos, and just to kind of, that would probably help you see if you're interested, or see what things that they're dealing with that you would potentially have to deal with.
So when you first started out, did you job shadow?
No, well, yes and no, because my uncle was a realtor. So sometimes I would go work in their office, just like do paperwork, like secretary, admin type stuff. So I knew a little bit. And then he did auctions too. So I had been to auctions and stuff growing up. And so I knew enough to know that I was interested. But yeah, all of that stuff would be great. If that is something you're interested in, go to an auction, go shadow somebody, or maybe work in the office, or, something like that, just to kind of see what the regular day-to-day, Monday through Friday stuff is like.
Wow, that's good tips if I had any. But thank you for coming on to the podcast very much.
Yep, you're very welcome.
And thank y'all for watching.
Yes. Breckenridge County. So we do get people who are maybe moving out of the city, wanting somewhere more rural, wanting somewhere more like small town type vibe. I mean, sometimes areas like, I don't know how to say it. Sometimes the area they're leaving kind of sells this area for them. So in a way, sometimes I don't have to sell the area, but then in a way I can sell it like it's a much slower pace. It's much low keyer. I guess that's a word. It's much more low key in this area. And that usually is the draw for most people, We have the lake, which is a local attraction for a lot of people. And then a lot of people come, I guess a lot of people come just for, like, they'll have family or friends in the area, and that's part of the draw. So,
Any other questions? Okay. Thanks. Bye.